Hello all. So today we are going to see taking user input in Python programming. So we are going to see how we will take the value from the user into the programming. So let me open the IDE. We are using a Jupyter notebook. I'm using Jupyter notebook online. So I'm opening the Jupyter notebook. So let my notebook get open. Till that we will see the some basic how we will take a user input. So to take the input from the user, we have a function called as input function. So this is the function which will help us to take the user input. As previously we have seen the print function to print any statement. Similarly, if I want to take something from a user, I have a input function. Now let's take an example of addition of two programs, and I want to take the values from the user. So how I will write? Now previously we used to write a is equal to 10. Now instead of a is equal to 10, I want to take this value from the user. So I will write a is equal to input. And if I want to print the value which is user have been given, I will simply write print a. So this will help me to print the whatever the user had inputted. It will print it. Let's see this.
Ma'am, you are mute.
Okay, so here we are with this Jupyter notebook, and whatever we are going to write it into using a comment or this hash symbol, okay, that will be a line will be called it as a comment. So comment means what? It will be only to a read only purpose for a programmer to understand what we are writing, what we are doing. We can use this comment. It will not involve into your programming, or it will not executable. It will be an invalid statement. Okay, so I am showing you the example of taking user input. Now I want to do the addition of two numbers by taking that two numbers from a user. So how I will write now? uh, Before taking a user input, let's take a simple example which we already did. Let's take a is equal to 6, b is equal to 3, and I want to do the addition of two numbers. So I'm writing print a plus b. And when I run the code, I get the output as 9. So this was my simple program which earlier we used to do that, right? Now, what I want is, let's take the user input. Let's take this a from a user input. So I'll write a is equal to input function. Okay, and then I will just print a. I will just print a. Now see, I have written a is equal to input and opening closing bracket, and then in the below line I have written print a. Now what does this means? This means we are taking the value of a from the user. So I'm writing a is equal to input. Okay, so input is the function which helps me to take the value from the user. Now you will see that when I will run this code, see, I have run the code. There is a box appearing. Okay, there is one box coming. So that box indicates a user input. So now here in the box, user have to give the values. So I'm giving 2. And when I click enter, see it is printing 2. Okay, this means we are taking the values from the user. And if I want to write here something in the print, the value of A is, see, I'm giving some value and it is printing the value of A is 2. So if you want to write any statement and then print the value of A, this is a way to write that. In a double quotes, you have to write the statement, then give comma and then give variable name. Okay, this is how we take the user input. Now I want to take another user input. Let's say B. So again, I will write B is equal to input and I want to print whatever the user is writing into that B. So I will write print B. So when I will run this code, see the first box is appearing, that is for a variable A. So in the variable A, I am giving number 1. It is printing the value of A is 1. And in the then the second box is appearing, that is for a variable B. And inside that I'm writing 2. It is giving me 2. So you will observe that there were the two boxes coming. For one is for a A input and another is for a B input. Okay? So this is the input function. Now suppose I want to give a name to a box. I want to give enter name or enter first name and then box. And I want enter second name and then box. So how to write that? Inside the input function, into the double quotes, write enter first name. Okay. And in the B, inside the input function, I am writing enter second name or enter last name. Okay. And I am printing that last name. Okay. See what I have did is I have taken A and B as a two variables. Okay. A is equal to input inside the bracket. I have written enter first name in double quotes. And B is equal to input inside the bracket. I have written enter last name. And then I have simply printed my name is A comma B. So whatever the value user will put inside that box A and inside that box B, it will just print it inside the print statement. So when I will run the code, okay, the comma is missing here. See, this is very important. In the print statement, after completion of print statement, there should be comma A comma B. Now see, when I run this code, it is saying enter first name. Now this box, it whatever the value we are going to enter into this box, it will go and store into a variable A. So I'm giving a value. I'm giving my first name. When I click enter, it is asking for enter last name. I'm giving my last name as well. And when I click on enter, it is giving me the output. My name is Sharvali Sarnaik. That is my first name and last name. So this is how we can take a user input. User input is nothing but when we run the code, user will enter the values. While doing a code, we don't know what user will enter. Okay. So this is what a user input with the help of input function. So this is a code to take the user input. See, I will repeat again. In the variable A, I have taken a input function and In that box, I want enter first name. Whatever you want to print for a box, you have to write it inside the input function in double quotes. Then I have taken another variable b, and it has another input function. And inside the double quotes, I have written enter last name. Then I want to print both first name and last name. So I have written print my name is comma a comma b. A comma b is nothing but the first name as well as the last name. So whatever the user will input in that two box, it will fetch the value and print it here. So this is my simple program to take a input from a user and to print the values. I hope you all are understanding. Now let's take another example. I want to take a input as a first number from a user. Okay. I want to tell a user to enter number 1, and I want to tell the user enter number 2, and I just want to print number 1 and number 2. Now how the code will be? See, I am taking a variable n1 is equal to, I am writing a function input. Inside that function, I am writing enter number 1. I'm asking to a user to enter number 1. I'm taking another variable n2. Then again a input function. Inside that, I'm telling a user to enter number 2. Okay. And I want to print number 1 and number 2. So just in the print function, I'm writing number 1 is comma n1. Why comma n1? Because the number 1, that is the user will be giving a number in the first block, first box. It will go and store into a variable called as n1. Okay, and we have to print that number. So I have taken comma n1. Similarly, I want to print n2. So I am writing print number 2 is, okay, then comma n2. So I just want to print whatever the user is giving the values. I just want to print it. So I've written n1 is equal to input inside the bracket in double quotes enter number 1. Then I have taken another variable, that is n2 is equal to input in the bracket double quotes enter number 2. So I have taken this n1 and n2 as an input. Okay, that will help us to take the input from the user. And whatever the user is going to put the values, that we have to just display it. So how to display? With the help of print function. So I have written print number 1 is comma n1 and number 2 is comma n2. So this will just help me to print the values which the user is inputting. So when I will run this code, now see, I have run the code. See the output, it is coming enter number 1, and then there is a box. This box means we have to put the values. We means the user is going to put the values. Okay. So here I'm giving the value 10 and I click enter. Now it is saying enter number 2. That means the another block is appearing and I'm putting the value 20. Now observe carefully. The 10 value will go and store it into a variable n1. Okay, and the value 20 will go and store it into a variable n2. So now when I click enter, my output is number 1 is 10 and number 2 is 20. So this 10 and 20 are replacing n1 and n2. If you observe this print statement, see, we have written number 1 is comma n1. So now n1 has the value 10 and n2 has the value 20. So in the output, we are just replacing n1 with value 10 and n2 with value 20. And this 10 and 20, we have taken it from a user. So this is what a input function. So with the help of input function, we can take the user input. So whatever we want, we can take it from a user. Let's take another example. I want to tell the user to print his name, print his age. Okay, I want to tell the user to print his name and age. So how we will do it? See, I will take one variable, then I will put a input function. Inside that, I will tell the user to enter name. Okay, I'm taking the another variable y, and I'm taking the input function. Inside that, I'm writing enter age. And we just want to print is age and name. Okay, so in the print function, I'm writing name is comma x, print age is comma y, and I'm just writing one another print function, and I'm printing a statement thank you. Okay, so now see, we have written x is equal to input enter name, y is equal to input enter age, and we have just given the inputs in the print function. So here, when I run the code, see it is coming a box as enter name. So I'm writing some name as KIT, okay, and I'm writing some age as 12. So when I click enter, it is saying name is KIT, age is 12, thank you. So this is a simple program to take the values from the user and to print it with the help of input function and a print function. Okay, so moving ahead, we will see the program of addition now. Now, see this. When I run the code, the box which is appearing, this box default value is string. Okay, the box G default value is a string. Now, in a Python programming, we have a data types. We have a concept called as data types. Let me tell you what is data types. Now see, in the Python programming, we have a concept called as data types. So now data types means what? Which type of data we are using is called a data type. See, I'm writing here which type of data we are using is called as data types. Okay, now what does this means? Which type of data we are using is called as a data types. So this means what? See now, I'm writing a is equal to 10. Now this 10 is which type of data? It is an integer type of data, right? It is an integer type of data. So if it is an integer type of data, we are seeing it is int. We are saying it as a int. So this A is having int type of data, that is integer type of data. Similarly, if we are writing B is equal to 7.5, then this is which type of data? It is
Float.
floating type of data, floating decimal value. So it is a floating type of data. So if it is a floating type of data, we are calling it as a float type. Okay, if we are writing something into point, then it is a float type of data. Similarly, if I'm writing C is equal to, in the quotes, I'm writing something like KITCOEK. Any word if you are writing, okay, word should be compulsory in double quotes. If you want to write any, give any word as a value to a variable, then it should be compulsory into a quotes. Then this is a string type of data. It is a string, string. It is a string type of data. We call it as a str. Okay, we call it as str. Now, if I'm writing 8j, Then this is a complex type of data. It is a complex type of data. So this int, float, str, complex, all are those called as a data types. We have the basic four data types, that is int, float, string and complex. Okay, so these are the four data types. Okay, so now let's see how to find out this data types. Okay, now see, I'm writing a is equal to 10. A is equal to 10. Now I want to find which type of data it is. So we have a type function which will help me to display the type of that variable. So how to use that type function? See now, I am writing print inside the bracket. I am writing type of A. See how I have written is A is equal to 10. Then I am writing print type of A. Type and then inside the bracket I am writing A. So when I will run this code, it will help me to get the type of data. Now you will observe that it is displaying int. This means the variable A is having int type of data. Okay, and if you want to simply print the value of A, just write print A. Now see, it is displaying first the type of data and then it is displaying the value 10. Okay, similarly, if I am writing 10.7 and when I will run the code, now you will observe that it is displaying the type float. We have written type A, right? So it is displaying me the type of that A, that is float. If I am writing 10J and I run the code, see now it is displaying complex. So the type of that A variable is complex. Okay. If I am writing, if I want to write the name or any word if I want to assign, then you have to write it into a quotes. Single quotes is also valid or double quotes is also valid. I'm writing KIDCOEK. And when I will run the code, see it is displaying str. So str is nothing but the string. So this is a string data type. Okay, A is equal to in the double quotes. Any word, see remember, any word if you want to assign to a variable, then it should be compulsory into a double quotes or single quotes. See, I have given double quotes, but single quotes is also valid. See, I will give single quote and I will run the code. See, it is valid. Okay, you can give single quotes or double quotes. Any word, if you want to assign it to a variable, then it should be compulsory into a quotes. Okay, and the type function which will help us to give the type of data. Okay, so this is all about the type function. Type is the inbuilt function which will help us to define the type of variable which we are using. Now, next is, see, we have a concept called as type conversion or typecasting. I'll write here. We have a concept called as typecasting, or it is also called as type conversion. Okay, we have a concept called as typecasting or type conversion. Now, what is this typecasting or type conversion? Now, suppose a value of A is 10. That means it is an integer value, right? The value of A is 10. That means it is a integer value. So it is an int type of data. Now, if I want to convert the value of A into a decimal, I need to convert integer to float. And converting some data type into another data type is called as typecasting or type conversion. See, I repeat again. If the value of A is 10, that means it is an int type of data. And now I want to convert that data into another data type, that is a float data type. So when we are converting one data type into another data type is called as typecasting or type conversion. Now we will see how to convert first data type into another data type. So let's see that now. See, now I'm taking a value of A as 10. Okay, and I'm just printing that value. Now you will observe that my answer is 10, but I want to convert it into float. So how to convert that? Just write the data type at first and then give the bracket and write the value. Now you will observe when I run the code, it is giving me 10.0. This means we are converting into data. See, the now inside this bracket I have just written 10, right? So 10 is my int data, that is integer data. And I'm writing a data type name before that 10. That is I have written float of 10. That means we are converting int type of data into a floating value. And this conversion of data from one data type to another data type is called as typecasting or type conversion. Okay. Now similarly, suppose I am taking another data b is equal to 2.5. Okay. Now this is which type of data? It is a floating type of data. So when I print it, see it is giving me 2.5. Okay. Now I want to convert it into an integer. So just write int, then inside the bracket write that value. Okay, see how I am writing b is equal to int inside the bracket 2.5. Now, when I run the code, it is giving me 2. See the output, it is giving me 2. 2 means we are converting float data into an integer data. So it is only giving me 2. Okay, so this is how we can convert the data from one data type to another data type. Okay, which is called as a typecasting or type conversion. Now, when we are taking something from a user, okay, when we are going to take something from a user, we are writing input function that the box is appearing. That box default value is a string. That box default value is a type of string data type. So whatever we will write it into a box, it will be into a string data type. I will show you. Let's take a variable a is equal to 5 and variable b is equal to 2. Okay, let me write as input here. Okay, input function I'm giving, and b is equal to also I'm writing input, and I want to do the addition of two numbers. So I am writing a plus b. Okay, so when I will run this code, see now the first box is appearing. Okay, when I run the code, the first box is appearing. Inside that box, I have written 5, and then another box is appearing. I have written 2. Now, when I click enter, it should display 5 plus 2 answer. That is, it should display 7. But if you observe, it is displaying 52. That is 5 and 2. It is not 52, it is 5 and 2. Now, 5 and 2 it is displaying because the default value of that input box, input function is of string data type. So it is considering it as a string. It is considering 5 as a word and 2 as a word. Now what we have to do? We have to convert the type of that box into another data type. So whichever the data type you want, we have to convert it. Now, how to convert that? We will write int before input function and then write the bracket and then give the input function. Okay. See, again for the b also we will write int first, then give the bracket and then write the input function. Now see, when I will run the code, I'm again writing 5 and 2 only. Now see, it is giving me an answer as 7. This means whatever the default value of the box was there, it is now converted to a int type. So now it is giving me a correct answer of addition. This is how we have to do the addition program by taking user input. Here we require a type casting. Okay, we need to convert one data type into another data type. Similarly, suppose if I write float here instead of int, I'm writing float. Here also I'm writing float. And when I'll run the code, if I write 4 and 4, it is giving me 8.0 answer. It is giving 8.0 because we have written float as a data type. That means it is considering 4.0 plus 4.0. It is showing an answer 8.0. So this is how we have to write the code. We have to take the user input and we have to do this addition. Okay, so let's take another example to print area of circle. Okay, we are going to see a program to find area of circle. Now we know the area of circle, that is 3.14 into r, right? Pi r square. So let's do that code by taking a user input. Now, I want to take a user input as a radius, right? And a value of pi. So first I'm writing r is equal to input. Okay, so r will be into the form of the final output. We are going to get it into a float, right? So I'm writing here float inside the bracket input function, and in the input function I'm writing enter radius. Okay, enter radius. Then I'm taking another variable pi, that also I'm converting into a float. Inside that I'm taking an input function and I want to display enter the value of pi. Okay, and then I want to write the logic, so I'm writing area is equal to pi into r into r, and I want just print the output of area of circle. So I'm writing area of circle is, and here I'm writing comma area. So when I will run the code, it is saying enter radius. I'm entering the value of radius as 1. Now it is saying enter the value of pi. So I'm writing 3.14. See now, the answer I'm getting is 3.14 because I have inserted the value of radius as 1. Okay. If I am writing 2, it will give the value. See, I will run the code again. Enter radius 2. Enter the value of pi, that is 3.14. Then it is giving me 12.56. This is one way, or another way is instead of this pi taking from user, you can directly write 3.14 into r. No need to take the input from a user. No need to take the value of pi as an input from user. You can directly write 3.14 into r. Or you can assign pi is equal to 3.14. This is another way. So this is the simple program of area of circle by taking an user input.
Hello, ma'am.
So let's take another example to take the name from the user, to take the marks of 3 subjects from the user, and we have to print the total of that 3 subjects. So how you will do? You try at your side. I will just give you hint. Take one name variable. Inside that, take a input as name. Enter your name. Then take 3 subjects. Let's take maths, science, and history. And take the marks in this math, science, history. Okay, take a user input. Then you have to find out the total. So how to find out the total? Total is equal to addition of these 3 subjects and just print that. Okay, so this will be a task for you all. try it at your side. If you just have to print something, then no need of type conversion. But if you want to do a logic, if you want to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, any, if you want to do any logic part, then you have to type convert the box. Okay, input function, you have to first predefine the type, and then you can do the total. Like math, science, and history, you need to typecast it. So this is the simple uh, programming in Python by taking a user input. So in the today's session, we have seen this input function. With the help of input function, we have seen how to take the user values, and we have seen the type function, which help us to get the type of the data. And we have seen some simple programs. We have seen typecasting, type conversion. Okay. See, this is the area of circle program. Then we have seen this addition of two numbers. Then we have seen this typecasting. We have seen this string data type. If it is a string, it should be compulsory into a double quotes, or single quotes is also valid. We have seen the type function. This we have seen the input function to simply print the data. If you want to simply print it, no need of typecasting or type conversion. But if you want to do addition, subtraction, or any operations, then compulsory it should be into a typecasting. You need to add the data type. We have seen what is data types, basic data types we have seen. Int, float, string, and complex. These are the data types. Now, one more thing I will show you. If I'm writing a is equal to 6, okay, and I'm converted into a complex data type, complex 6, okay, and I'm printing a. Now, when I run the code, see the output I'm getting is 6 plus 0j. This is a complex data type, right? So this is how we can convert the int into a complex data type. 6 was an integer type of data. We are converting it into a complex data type. So this is a way. A is equal to complex of 6, print A. It will give me an output complex data.